So a lot of people know Dave Ramsey, and they probably know him more than anything from his 7 baby steps. You might have also seen him online, or I think he's on podcasts, and he talks of money management. And he has a very rigid, it's a well thought out plan on how to make the best choices for your money. I agree with the majority of his ideas in principle. But, maybe I might disagree in certain areas. And when I find a comment that he says that I totally disagree with, or at least in a lot of principles I disagree with, I do like to point it out because while he does have very sound, general approaches to money management, sometimes he makes things sound, like absolutes instead of maybe more guidelines. A good example of that might be his step 2 and paying off all debt except for the house. If you have a car loan that's paying a 0.9 or 1.9%, is it really in the best use of your money to pay off a 1.9% where you could take that money and put it in the market and try to get on average a 7, 8, 9, or even 10%? Again, good valid points, but not hard, fast rules at the same time. So if you get anything out of this video, please like and subscribe. But let me dive into what I wanted to talk and that I thought was not exactly true. In general, you could take it a little bit, but he said babies are not that expensive. Now, I'm going to stop there, but it does go on. Let's be honest, right? Dave Ramsey thinks it's absolutely wrong to think you need to be wealthy before having kids. So what you consider wealthy versus what somebody else considers wealthy is probably very subjective. But when the first line that says babies are not that expensive, I would actually disagree. Even this article, right? And again, I'll put this article in the description. You can go look at it yourself. Really isn't too much there, but it talks about, children are not as expensive as people think, and that building wealth first is not necessary. And so when you take somebody like Dave Ramsey, who is very well known, he's definitely well off, right? He is somebody that you think of as being wealthy. To say that, when he's already wealthy, that you don't need to be wealthy to have kids, I take issue with that statement. So let's take a few things. I'm not going to go into a million things, but let's take a look at a few things of why, they are expensive. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have kids or that you should have kids, but you need to take some of these things into account before you make that decision in some perspectives. So let's look at the first thing is childcare, right? Childcare is extremely expensive. I know when my kids were younger and they haven't needed childcare in 15, almost 20 plus years, and it was expensive then. I think we were paying a couple $100 easily a week. In the summer, it was what, 3 something, maybe during their childcare, it was $700-800 a week. And I can't imagine what it is today. So I found this website. It is, a .gov, so it's a government agency. You see here that it says 2022, and when we highlight it over, it does have the median prices also in 2024. And so let's take a look at them. And, first thing I wanted to do was find my own county. So this breaks it down by county. And you're going to find, if I just shoot over to here in Nevada, right, it says that in 2024, the estimate was $8,900. So almost $9,000 a year. So obviously that's under $1,000 a month. And so maybe you could afford that, but I would assume in this county, the cost of living is much less than maybe where you are. So I think understanding where you are could have a huge impact to the decision in some perspectives in saying that kids aren't expensive. I'm going to go find my county. So I am in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. And right here, it says the 2022 was a little over 14,000, and the 2024 estimate is practically $16,000. It's 15,925. And again, that would have been for 2024. It is now not 2025, it's 2026. But you can obviously, the assumption is it would be even higher. From 22 to 24, you can see it jumped up over $1,000, closer to $1,500. So if we take $1,600 and we add another $1,500, we're now at $17,500, clearly well over $1,000 a month. You're now talking easily closer to $1,500 a month. Now, this isn't a toddler center. You can change this. If we do an infant center, we might be able to find a different value. Let's find Montgomery County again. An infant one, an infant one in 2024 is estimated to be over $18,000. So you're probably looking at close to $20,000 again for infant centers. But again, you can look at preschool-based places. I know that I would probably consider that's where my kids went at one point. And here, it's almost $15,000, again, estimated 2024. So to say kids aren't expensive, again, take issue with it. Now, let's take out childcare, because maybe you have somebody that takes care of the child at home. Maybe you find a place, or maybe you live in an area that isn't as expensive, and maybe you're paying, only $8,000 or $9,000 a year only, right? But the other thing that I really thought more than anything, so when I went through my kids, it was childcare was super expensive. And the next thing was, I hate to say it, was baby formula. Now, not everybody can do natural. And so I thought I'd bring up Target, because I think that's where we went for the most part. We happen to really use the Simulac brand. I'm not advocating for it one way or another, but if that was your choice, looking here at a 30 ounce, now this is Total Care. I think this sounds familiar, but again, it's been, 20 something years since we've been in this situation. They do have some other ones that are $44. This one is $38, $39. If we go to the Target brand, which I would anticipate is good, I used other Target brands. They're all basically $31, $32 right across the bat. Oh, well, here's one that's 46, and for a soy-based one is a little higher, of course. So, now I know with my kids, so I'm just really talking about my own journey here. When you're using this at the beginning and your kid's very small, you might buy one and you could go 2, 3, maybe even a month. It's been a long time. So, but I remember, as that kid gets bigger and bigger, and they go through these bottles, they're chugging it all the time. You're going through a single bottle. You're going through one of these containers every week. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you went through more than one a week. So to not say that kids aren't expensive when you're going through $50, $100, $200 a month, that isn't expensive, and then on top of that, I would say, again, I'll go to Target and I'm going to look at not baby formula, but let's actually do a quick search for baby food. And I would like to find the Gerber, right? And they do have different stages of the food. So here is a 2-pack, right, for $2. So it's $1 each. And, again, when your kid is eating these containers, you can easily go through 2, 3, and you're adding baby formula into this that they're eating. I mean, again, kids can be expensive at the same time. They're well worth it. I'm not discounting that. But again, when I see these type of comments, babies are not that expensive, and again, I'm not advocating one way or another that you should delay or whatever, but let's be realistic, right? Let's not just say that they're not expensive when you have more money than most people probably would make in a lifetime. For you to say that they're not expensive just is not a valid statement. So Hope you found this interesting, right? I mean, understand where you are, and hopefully understanding these type of numbers can help you out down the road when you have your own kid. Thank you. Hope to see you in the next one.